Welcome back to Blackacre Ranch, everybody. My name is Jeff. So this is like, I'll be honest with you, the 15th time I've done this introduction. And number 92 is so polite to stand back there and give me encouragement. So I am talking about buffalo, but specifically about how you work the buffalo, okay? It's fall time. We need to get everything prepped to be able to work the buffalo. That means you bring them into the corrals, you put them in a safe environment where you can go ahead and administer any medications, check them out, weigh them, things of that nature, and just do general overall maintenance on them. So how do you do that? You get a squeeze chute, all right? So today I'm going to talk to you about squeeze chutes, which one I got, and the ultimate question is, when it comes to buffalo, there may not always be so many options, but one thing that people will do is they'll take a cattle chute and modify it to accompany bison or to work with bison. Did I do that? Why I did, why I didn't. Pros and cons, so stick with us. We're going to talk about squeeze chutes today. All right, glad you guys could be with us. This is a topic that I've been spending some time thinking about over the last few years, and in fact was one of those things that I started thinking about as quickly as I started attending conferences and thinking about buffalo and having them, is how in the world do you get this buffalo that doesn't want to listen to you and get them confined in a way that you can administer care, weigh them, inspect them, things of this nature, tag them, all that. So this is done through a handling system, okay? A series of pens and chutes and alleys and so forth that all work together to lead the animal to one spot where you are, to be able to get them in a safe spot where you can get close to give them their shots and do whatever else you need to do, okay? And that is the squeeze chute, all right? So let me show you actually our squeeze chute. This is what I was just picking up this last weekend. So if you saw the last episode, you'll see that my wife was mentioning a squeeze chute. And this is it. Squeeze chutes come in all different sizes and varieties, okay? And they all have generally the same type of features, okay? And this is what I've been noticing. I've been searching online and looking for different options and what kind of squeeze chute naturally should you get, okay? So I'm going to run down some of these options that typically you get, and then kind of go more into why did I choose this squeeze chute versus another squeeze chute. So there's a lot of different styles and types of squeeze chutes, okay? I've got some notes here because I did some research. I went ahead and thought over these last years, and I'm kind of compiling down to now, is there's a lot of different options, okay? And you get this one that's priced such and such. You get this one priced another such and such. You say this is for cattle. Well, can I use the cattle one for the buffalo? Should I use the cattle one for the buffalo? And in a lot of times, I'm going to tell you, there is no right answer or wrong answer. You can't just go up to somebody and say, hey, you chose X, you're wrong. You just have to accept the fact that if you choose X instead of Y, or Y instead of X, man, the buffalo sound like they're just right there. If you choose one or the other, there's just pros and cons, and there's things to think about, okay? Most squeeze chutes have similar features, and they're all about the same. And I don't want to say the same, but they all have standard equipment, if you want to say, that I have seen, okay? So this is some of it, okay? When you have a buffalo or any animal, you bring it up from the rear, all right? Actually, let me show you that, okay? This is the rear of the squeeze chute. And this is the steel door. What you do is you just open the handle and you slide it open. And inside, you get to see in all the glory what the buffalo sees when they enter. Okay? They all have some sort of rear door mechanism. It all is on this track. This one has wheels. They may have different types of systems. It doesn't matter. The door opens when they get in. You shut it behind, and then they're now inside between the doors up front and the doors in back, okay? On the sides is where you access the animal. All right, here, let me see if I can get you some lower shots too. There are a number of doors. So up here at the front side, in this chute in particular, it has front door. You can open it from here. You can open it to the back, check for pregnancies, do whatever. You even have these on the side, which allow you to take the bottom down, and it folds all the way down. You can access the feet, okay? These come in different styles and designs. They may have just bars, vertical bars across the side. Same as the bottom, they may have compartments instead of the entire thing. Okay, that's where the differences come in on a lot of this. It's the function of how they do it. It's not the fact that it's there or not, okay? Once the animal is in here, animals are different sizes, okay? So what happens is we call it a squeeze chute because it squeezes. Actually, if you look on the bottom here, you'll see these legs right here. Those are arms which move in and move out. So when you pull the lever, it slides the sides in and it actually squeezes the animal closer, okay? And they'll all typically have some bar up top. You do that, you can squeeze them as far as you need to go. You can also release it. This one has a second bar. You can then put some tension, release it, and it springs back open. The animal is now released, and then you can open the head gate. Let me show you that. Now, for all you cattle people, you don't necessarily have this crash gate, okay? So this is the head gate. This is the gate where the neck is captured. This is the gate where the neck is captured, okay? There's a lever right here with a red handle. This opens side to side. The animal comes in and they get captured between here. Their head is sitting right here. In this case of a buffalo, this chute or this door is open and you can access them. Cattle, they don't necessarily have this, okay? So these are the standard type of things you're gonna see, okay? This one operates from both sides, left side, right side. Handles up top can be located left side, right side, both sides as well. So really what you just have is you have all these small doors to access, the sides of the animal, the top of the animal, the bottom of the animal. You can access the head up front. You just get access, right? And it's just done in different ways. So if everybody and their dog seems to be doing the same crap, what is the difference between a bison chute, or can I just take a cattle one and go with that? And that, my friends, is the ultimate question. Because I'll tell you, they're not all priced the same, and they're not all the same. All right, so I'm gonna go through this data with you. Don't zone out, okay? I'm telling you, if you have any interest in these things, you're gonna wanna listen to this, okay? Found some interesting things about this. All right, all of these things are different in some way, okay? Very similar, but not necessarily how they do it, okay? And so I'm gonna cover with you a little bit the differences in these. And I just did a Google search, and I'm gonna show you some of these that I've putting up here as I'm talking about them. And again, I'm gonna just clarify, disclaimer here. I'm not saying that any one is wrong. I'm not saying one is right. I'm not saying buy this one, buy that one, don't do this, don't do that, okay? I'm giving this to you for informational purposes of stuff you may not have considered when you look at buffalo compared to cattle, okay? So let's run through these, but I will say that ultimately when you're doing this, I'm looking especially for three key things. One, is it available? Two, is there a good value with it? And three, is it durable enough to stand up to buffalo? Okay, those are the three things I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to use my notes here. I'm going to start out with this first one. The first one that I came up with was tarter. It is a red one. You'll see the pictures here. This one is $36.99 as it's showing on the internet right now. Okay, I don't even know where it was from, but anyway, it's listing at $36.99. This one weighs in at a capacity, or weighs in at a weight of 1,035 pounds. It's 113 inches long, 106 inches wide, which is really big actually. Oh, that's because it's including arms on the side, okay? That's for the back door. And then 94, I believe it is, inches high, okay? So that's its size, $36.99. All right, this next one is from Powder River, okay? This one came in at $7,600. The website didn't give me a lot of information about it. It didn't even give me the weight of it, okay? But it's twice the cost. It's 108 inches long, so it's a little shorter, and it's only 88 inches high, and so it's squattier. It's not as long and it's not as tall, okay? Third one is Priefert. Priefert's a well-known brand. All of these are probably pretty well-known brands, okay? This one is a weight of 1,210 pounds. It is 94 inches long as opposed to the others, which are 103, 113 and 108. It's only 80 inches high compared to the 88 and 94. And it's 53 inches wide compared to the other one, which was 106, the tarter, okay? And that's, as I said, with the handle. So these are 3, okay? There is also Arrowquip. Arrowquip, you'll see it in some of these YouTube channels. They kind of have sponsored somehow or whatever. It's green. They have a deluxe that they say is 1,700 pounds. It's 129 inches in length, 93 high, and 56 wide, okay? So dimensions can kind of, I want you to just think of dimensions as giving you some perspective kind of in their sizing. The way they measure may be a little bit different, whether they include that little arm. So what did I get from this? What information? Did I just shoot out a bunch of data to you and you're like, well, what the freak is that, right? So this is kind of what I'm getting to with this. When I was doing the research, not every website would give me information. And there was one piece of information that came up when I was looking up tarter. And that was the capacity of the animal, okay? They're not all sized or capable of handling any animal you want. So tarter, through the comments section, after multiple times of being asked, tarter eventually said their squeeze chute would only handle an animal that's 1,400 pounds max. Now, it may be that brand or that model of it, I mean, but you got to keep in mind is you can't just go over there and say, hey, this is priced well, I guess that'll work. You just can't do that. You have to look at the capacities of what these things are, and they don't tell you. You almost have to hound them to find it. So you just got to be careful what you're looking at. And that kind of worries me about buying cattle chutes, is that they do have limits on the type or the size of the animal. Arrowquip said that they could handle anything. The others, well, up to 2,500 pounds on Arrowquip. The other two, I couldn't find any information on, okay? The other thing I want to point out is the weight difference, okay? And this is just because I know what this weighs, all right? The first one from Tarter, which was sized probably the biggest of them, was 1,035 pounds of the 4 that I told you. The others were smaller. Some were 1,700 pounds. One was unknown. The other one was 1,200 pounds. So if all of these things that are smaller, some weigh a little bit more, some weigh a little bit less, some are a little bit larger, it kind of begs the difference. How in the world do you get a squeeze chute maybe about the same size as this, and the weight, it looks the same, but it is not the same weight? The only way that you can go from something like this and compare it to a cattle guy and say, hey, they're dimensionally about the same, why is yours 1,500 to 1,700 pounds heavier? It's because it's probably not as durable, guys. Okay? So if you're dealing with cattle chutes, one, they may not carry the size of, they may not have the animal capacity for you. Two, they may not be made out of the most durable material and sized very well to be able to handle larger animals, hence the lower capacity. And three, sometimes you can't get a lot of this information. And it's not just by the numbers. You don't just go and say, that's cheaper, that one's more expensive, that'll work. You can't do that. You got to find out. All right, so what about buffalo chutes, okay? There are a few people who make bison-specific chutes. Okay, first, you have Titan. Titan will do it. You have High Hog, which is up in, I think, Alberta. It's a way up in Canada. I think it might be, whatever. It's in Canada. And then you have Fraser. Those are the only 3 that I could see that actually make bison-specific squeeze chutes, okay? And here's the difference between these things. A squeeze chute for a buffalo is going to include this crash gate, because buffalo don't like being contained, okay? Buffalo don't like going in this sucker. They're kind of passive out there, and they do their thing. But when you stick them in here, they stress out. They do not like it. They want out as fast as possible. Your job is to get them out. This makes sure that they don't blow through your head gate, which is right here. All right? When they're coming down this line, you're going to have to open this sometimes to get them to tease them out a little bit, because they don't like to go in dark spaces. This crash gate is the only thing that's going to stop them from blowing right through this. Okay, if you've ever seen buffalo being worked, you will know that compared to cattle especially, buffalo do not take kindly to it. I have never seen, out of all the hours I've watched cattle being worked online through YouTube folk or whatever, I have never seen a bull or a cow from just cattle cows ever freak out and demolish one of these things. Ever just slam into them and just pulverize it. I have seen it in person and I have seen it in film where buffalo will, okay? So don't just willy-nilly just take a shot at just picking something. You want something that works, okay? So buffalo, they have these crash gates. Second, this system is a little bit longer, okay? Buffalo will typically have an access panel here, okay? This access panel allows you to get up closer to the neck, but is not affected here, is not influenced by this, okay? It's a design choice. I've measured this one. This one is actually about 6 inches longer than the ones I told you about before. And it's about as high, it's a couple inches taller than the tartar one, which is the tallest before, okay? This is sized longer. The weight on this Fraser unit is 2,700 pounds, okay? That's a lot of weight. When I look at the Titan one came in at, oh, it didn't even give me a weight. It didn't even give me dimensions. All right, the High Hog, it says it weighed in at 3,150 pounds. Now this High Hog you can see here is just, the main difference is that crash gate opens vertically. Whereas this one here opens sideways, the other one opens vertically. And to do so as it pivots up, it has counterweight balances at the top, and that adds extra weight, okay? So the function is there. So what are the costs of all these Bison ones compared to the other guys, the cattle ones, okay? This Fraser unit, gosh, I forget where it is. Fraser, it's out of Alabama, I believe it is, was $7,800, I think is what they listed at, and it includes an internal scale. So when they get in there, you can weigh them. All right, that was nice. High Hog, from what I could get from them, no. Titan, it was another about $1,500 to $2,000 option, which it already started at $10,500 on sale. So back to those three things. I said availability, value, and durability, okay? Were the three things I'm looking for when I picked my squeeze chute. So this is why I got this one. This one was $7,500. It was cheaper than the Titan by about $5,000, all things equivalent. How was it with the High Hog? I don't know, okay? I have no idea because I could not get a High Hog representative to just give me a call back despite numerous attempts, talking to him on the phone, hey, let me get to that information, I'll give you a call back with a pricing. Never did it work, okay? So, that pisses me off. I don't like that. So I went with this guy. Cheapest, included the scale, and it was available. Okay, so this is what I picked up this last Saturday. This last Saturday I was over and I found somebody who was getting rid of a used one that they hadn't used much. And so I got it even cheaper. It was, you know, used. Okay, but it wasn't used because he actually followed a set of, I guess, buffalo handling techniques where he didn't even really use it much. So it just sat there. So it's been outside for probably a couple years. But anyway, so this one I actually got cheaper. And it was close by, available, cheaper, still sturdy. And I know a person who actually has this one. Steve has this kind of chute. And I know the person who actually is part owner of the company, Fraser. So this is the one I went with, okay? I think the value was there, and I think it's durable. It weighs 2,700 pounds, over 1,700 pounds heavier than the tartar, and it was there to take. So this sucker was a behemoth, all right? Kind of some closing thoughts on this, guys. When I was just doing that research, and again, I'm not trying to bash other companies, I'm not trying to bash other people who've made a decision to take a cattle one and convert it. You will find that if you take a cattle one, you have to somehow weld on a crash gate, okay? Those crash gates that typically are welded on are not necessarily as sturdy. They're not necessarily as built for this, okay? So when they get used, you'll find that they'll get hammered, bent, things of that nature. You just got to make sure you do it right. One thing I want to point out about this that was different was Sometimes cattle chutes have these things operate differently, the head gate. This is a scissor, meaning it opens sideways and squeezes this way. Some have self-catching. You'll find this with cattle a lot. They open as doors. Well, technically it's in. They open inward, and as the cow walks through, the shoulders will catch the door and they will slam shut. So it's a self-latching, self-catching kind of system. A problem with that you'll find if people try and use that system on buffalo is that they typically at the top will have a release. If you hit the top, it opens, and that's where the catch is. It opens and the doors swing open, okay? And your buffalo will escape, okay? Again, because it wasn't built for buffalo, you're gonna have these problems. Buffalo have a hump, okay? Hump on Wednesdays, so hump day. So you don't want a self-catching head gate, in my opinion, because the buffalo, when they're rocking and rolling in there, they're gonna open it up, okay? So this one has a scissor. It opens left and right down the middle. I like the head gate like this, it swings, okay? I talked about high hog that lifts up. The beauty of high hog when it opens up is that you can access both sides. Right now I cannot access from the left. I'd have to access from this side. It can open either way, but you only get one at a time. What I don't like about high hog though is I'm 6'3" and some change when you put shoes on, and when it lifts up and I've got like a 500-pound piece of steel above my head and a buffalo in front of me, I don't want to think I'm going to hit my head, okay? I don't want to be thinking about any of that. And I'm sure all those counterweights work great. It's just personally, I don't want to deal with thinking about hitting my head on the crash gate, okay? I liked the side. I will be on one side, the other side, they don't need to get in there, okay? So those are two differences that you'll find between buffalo systems, but also the cattle with this head gate. So that's my thinking, guys. You know, I'm not here to say that any one person who's done a cattle chute for the buffalo is wrong, okay? I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm not here to try and say that it's incorrect and mine's the best. You know, I'm just trying to give you guys some information as you start picking this out. I wanted something that I was not afraid of the buffalo just ramming into it, okay? They're gonna do that. And if I looked at a weight of 1,000 or 1,200 pounds compared to 2,700, or even in the high hog, 3,000 pounds, you tell me which one's gonna hold up, okay? Which one I'm not gonna lose sleep over when I'm the one standing in front of the buffalo trying to put an ear tag on, and he's just like, pow, sometimes right into the front of that, okay? I'm not taking that chance. If you've got the balls for it, go for it. I don't. I don't have the balls for that. So, other thing is, it's money, okay? It's good to find a deal. It's good to save some money, but there's also the value. Just find out what works for you, okay? And this is what we ended up with. This was close, 5 hours travel time, but it was close. And I'm happy with it. Now all that's left is to go ahead and do the handling system, all right? Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm gonna leave it here. In the near future, we're gonna get that handling system going. I'm already doing measurements and trying to order parts and steel, and I can show you another toy that I got to help me get all of that done, all right? I'll talk to you later, bye.